If you're a computer scientist and you have not been able to find the right girlfriend or life partner, then this video is for you. Now, I'm not a computer scientist, but over the last years, I've been able to help men from 11 different countries get a better dating life and find the right girlfriend and life partner. And a significant proportion of those men are computer scientists. On top of that, my cousin, who kind of was like my older brother growing up, he's currently doing his PhD. He's almost finished with his PhD in computer science at a very well-renowned institute back in Germany. So basically, over the last years, I've been able to distill and detect certain patterns, especially among this group of people. People who are very, very smart, very intelligent, who are, well, we'll get into the character details a little bit later, but basically who possess certain character traits that have made you as successful as you are in your current career or in your business. But these same character traits or similar ones have been stopping you from having a great dating life and finding the right girlfriend and life partner. And I'm also going to give you a couple of very concrete pieces of advice that you can use on your dates from now going forward in order to increase the probability that she's going to want to meet you for a second date. Because either guys can't get any dates at all because they mess it up at various different points during online dating, or they meet her for a date, which means if she wants to meet you for a date after you've gotten her number from real life or online, there is a base level of attraction, but then they mess it up and she doesn't want to meet them for a second date. Okay? Now, you need to understand that, first of all these things that I'm about to list are basically a competence because they've been able to get you to the successful position you're in. A lot of my clients, they work for like some of the best tech companies as computer scientists, okay? And that requires certain behaviors and character traits. So one is you are paid to look for problems, right? You're paid to find the flaw in various different processes, in a piece of code, and it's your job to fix it, okay? People contact you when something breaks down, when the app breaks down, when the PlayStation game breaks down, when whatever, right? When the software breaks down. People contact you to detect the flaws and to get rid of them. A significant proportion of your time is spent analytical, very logical, in your head, scanning, going through systems. You have no idea what exactly you're doing, but from what my clients have been telling me, you go through whatever piece of code or whatever project you have, you scan it in a very analytical way, you find the fault, a lot of time is spent finding the fault, and then later on you fix it. That's what you're being paid for, okay? So it's very logical, analytical work, which is an amazing competence to have because a lot of men would like to have that competence. Most men, 90 to 95% of men, purely statistically speaking, do not possess that ability. That's why they're not as successful in terms of their career as you are. Now, at the same time, this does not work very well on dates. Being very logical, analyzing the woman who's in front of you, analyzing what you're going to say to you, what you're about to say, being stuck in your head, sitting on the date when she's in front of you thinking, oh, what am I going to say next? What if she thinks this about me? What if, right? You are paid to think in what if. What if this happens? Okay, we got to fix that. Anticipation of certain problems, okay? Analyzing yourself, analyzing her, being very much logical in your own head. This is preventing you from getting into a flow of a conversation because you have to understand this is a social context. A social context is especially dating. There's social, there's professional, social, and then there's dating. Okay? Dating is not just a normal social context, it's a social context, but on top of that, a dating context because there's this idea of attraction. Women never ever get on the date with you because they want a logical exchange of information. She wants to feel emotions. She wants to feel great emotions, okay? Now, you're not supposed to change yourself, change what you value. You don't have to become a completely different person, but you still have to learn to communicate more at the level of emotion instead of logic. And that begins with understanding that you being in your head is a competence and not a flaw in and of itself. But you can learn to switch it on and to switch it off. It is possible. We've done that with so many men over and over again. And it begins by becoming aware. Awareness is always the first step in personal development. You're going to hear that frequently, that awareness is one of the very first steps towards change. It's not sufficient, but it's necessary. So by me telling you right now that you get stuck in your head, the next time you're on the date, you're going to become aware of that. Okay, you're aware. Ooh, I'm in my head, I'm analyzing, okay? And what I hear from my clients, oftentimes they say, ooh, David, I can't even turn it off. And I start thinking, I'm like, oh, what about this? What about that? There's different techniques, different strategies. But one of the things you can do is to actually start feeling your body. There's many different techniques, but this one sounds weird, I understand, but it works. You can start feeling your heartbeat. You can start doing a mini body scan. Don't zone out completely while you're talking to her. Just for 3 seconds, feel your body. Okay, understand. First step, I'm in my head right now while I'm talking to her. I'm overanalyzing. Get into your body. Feel your body. Feel your breath. Be present. Look into her eyes. Feel the moment. Feelings. You have to make a decision to go into the realm of feelings and emotions, which may be a bit foreign to you because all your life you've been trained that most of the value that you'll be able to contribute to other people's lives comes from logical decisions. And that's partially true. But in a social context, it's all about the emotions. I mean, think about it. When you hang out with your friends, if you're not, pardon me, working on a project or doing something together, you're just together to be together. We're human beings, not human doings. We're literally just with those people to connect. That's all. It's just about connection in a general social context. Now, in dating, the added element is attraction. You gotta learn how to build attraction. And you have to get out of your head, because if you're overanalyzing, you come across in a very stifled and weird kind of a way. So, awareness, decision, feeling your body, getting into the body and the emotions, whatever you're feeling. Now, one of the struggles guys have, especially people in your profession, they don't know what to say because you're not talking a lot in your work, usually, okay? Some more than others, depends. Some of my clients are like project managers or like whatever, right? So they're managing teams, so they tend to speak a bit more, or like directors of different IT departments. But if you're just executing, most of your time is spent you, your brain, and the problem and the project in front of you, right? So be a little bit compassionate with yourself. Understand that you've not developed the skill of communication yet, but that is fine. It's just a skill set. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? I think it's really important for a lot of men to understand that, yeah, it's frustrating to not get dates or to only ever get these negative feedbacks from women. She leaves you on red or whatever. But think about it. Given your upbringing, given all the experiences you've made so far in your life, you couldn't have turned out any other way. Yeah, there's choices, okay? But certain things influence the choices you've had because you've only ever been exposed to certain categories of information that led you to being who you are, depending which philosophical train of thought you want to follow. But you've done the best you could in the past. But now, the second I'm talking to you, you now have choice. You're now becoming aware of the fact that there's nothing wrong with you, but it's just a skill set. Okay? So, logic versus emotions. Yeah. Just checking my notes here. It is super important to get a little bit kinder with yourself, because I can tell you for sure I have that, a very negative inner dialogue. I grew up with that, right? Very critical, especially in martial arts, right? I was always teaching martial arts, and karate is very analytical, very systematic. Not as much as computer science, obviously, but it's very systematic, okay? Whether you win a fight or not, this training is broken down in a very systematic way. You have the cardio, you have the actual practicing of the combinations, then you have reflexes, then you have, like it's very structured, very broken down. And then in the fight in and of itself, you usually rely on unconscious competence most of the time because you're not able to think. The second somebody's trying to punch you in the head, you're not able to think, okay? If you're standing in front of somebody and he throws a kick at your head, you can't think. If you're gonna think about what you're gonna do, what a good response, what a good technique would be in that moment, boom, you're already gonna get kicked in the face. And the same applies on a date. When you're sitting there and and she throws something at you, like a tease, or even just she says anything, and you're trying to think before giving a response, the time is too long, you come across as weird. It stifles you emotionally, which gives off a really weird vibe, and it's just gonna take too long and be totally weird, okay? Now, I don't want you to equate her saying something with getting punched in the head. So it's a very limited metaphor, but only in the sense that both require a degree of practice so that you can then stop thinking, okay? This idea of getting into emotions also means you have to do a little bit more shit talking. Shit talking is a skill in and of itself. Just being funny, just being silly, making jokes. And I can tell you, I couldn't do it for the hell of it. For the fuck of it, I couldn't do it. Remember, I'm German, right? Very logical people in our heads, even if Germans themselves wouldn't admit it. But if there's some Germans listening to this, compare yourself to other nationalities and we realize we're actually quite logical, okay? I could not make jokes. 5-6 years ago, I couldn't make people laugh, really. It just wasn't, I didn't have it in me. I didn't know how jokes worked. I had to learn that, but it's possible. Again, you don't have to become a comedian. You don't have to become a clown. But making jokes, making fun of her, teasing her, those are things that create emotions, and attraction comes through emotions. She will not decide to be with you for logical reasons. It's not going to happen. She's going to decide to be with you because she feels certain things. And remember, I would go a little bit too deep, but what are the two core components of attraction? There's building your value and building a connection, you know? You have to learn to build your value in a way that's fun, that's playful, by looking at her. Not in a creepy way, but holding eye contact, breaking the tension, pressure on, pressure off, feeling it. But you also have to understand that in the beginning, it's going to feel a little awkward. It's going to feel a little, oh, this doesn't feel natural. Did driving a car feel natural the first time you've done it? Did typing on a computer feel natural? Did going skiing feel natural? Most things do not feel natural. Now, authenticity still matters. You don't have to completely change your personality, but add the element of attraction creation. Okay? That is super, super, super important. Now, people like yourself, you don't want to be a fuckboy. In my experience, right? My clients, 95% of my clients, they don't want to be fuckboys. They don't just want a great dating life. They want a good dating life in order to quickly find the right girlfriend and life partner. They want something sustainable, something for the long term, somebody that they can build something with, maybe even have a family with, you know? And as logical as that process may seem to you, the process in and of itself is quite logical, right? I have another video on YouTube where I describe the systematic process of getting dates. Feel free to watch that as well. But when you're on the date, it's about fun, it's about emotions. Talking shit, looking at her, saying things, making noises, being a little bit silly, allowing yourself to feel those emotions. Because if you don't feel the emotion of fun, joy, laughter, silliness in you, she's not going to be able to feel that. Okay? This is how attraction is created in a woman. And if you would want to learn how to do that in detail, then feel free to apply for a first free coaching call with the link underneath this video. As I said, I've worked with countless computer scientists. Feel free to check out my website for testimonial videos. And we've been able to just do tremendous things. For example, like I've had clients who had 0 dates last year, and then now they're able to have like 3 dates in one day. Other people, they just find their girlfriends, their life partners. It's really amazing. But it's because I understand how you guys work. Even though I'm not one of you, you as a particular breed of fairly intelligent people, okay? Not to give you a compliment, but you are fairly intelligent, very logical, puts you in your head. I've seen the patterns, we have techniques, we have strategies broken down in the coaching system that will help you find somebody over and over and over again. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, then come into a first free session. We'll talk about everything in detail. I'll answer all your questions and we'll create a plan for you on your individual situation, because everybody's a bit different, on how you can achieve that. If you're serious, and only then, I'm looking forward to speaking with you personally. I wish you all the best.